Hi guys, welcome to Trustzone.com. This is Mohit Soni. Hope you all are doing safe and well in this current situation right now. And right now in front of us we have the BMW 7 Series with us. This is the much talked about facelift version. It came out globally last year, and at the same time we were driving the old 7 Series as well, so you know our review about that. So I'll keep it brief and tell you what are the changes. And as you can see, the reason why it was being talked about globally is because of that massive grille at the front. Obviously we've been seeing images ever since, and now it's landed here and we can see it in person. And let me tell you immediately the fact that they have immediately grown on me very specifically, because it now suits the character of the car much better. It's a bigger car with a bigger grille. Of course some people may not like it, but I've spent considerable amount of time with this car and the previous car, and I think this sort of completes the big car look. Of course this is done for the Chinese market, and people will say that this is more Chinese customer oriented design, but I think this time they are up to a point where, you know, they are almost right. It just looks right to me. Of course you have other sleek and small elements such as these LED DRL lights, which have the laser lights as the optional extra, and they are fantastic to look at, and they do their job also really well in the night. I've been stuck in a very dark area last night, and the lights guided me through all of that really well. We see the alloy wheels, we see the side profile, it remains identical to as before, but of course there is a lot of chrome, and there's this new signature sort of thing that is probably looks like a golf stick, very apt for a car of this size and status. And coming to the back, it gets this new LED light bar that is running around. I think it looks fantastic in the day and in the night. Let's open up the boot and see that the kind of space that we have. Of course it's not a lot of space. You get space, some stuff here and here, and as you can see here, it's not the biggest. You do get a space saver tire, and I think that's a really good feature to have. You have 360-degree surround camera, and let me just show you what the lights actually look like in the day. Yeah, as you can see at the back and at the front. So the overall design continues to be the same. Of course the front has changed dramatically, the bumpers have also changed, the side profile remains the same, there's a taillight. So this is a typical LCI in that is of course like something what BMW likes to call their facelifts. And overall it's a very handsome car in this sort of purplish maroon color. I think it looks fantastic. I don't remember the name of the color. I told you about the 360-degree camera. I'll show you on the inside. There's a lot of cool features with this car. There's a reason why this car has when it came 3 years ago, defeated the S-Class in most comparison tests, because it has the right amount of features, the way it rides, the way it handles, and of course everything else that is associated with the BMW brand. It's all here. So before I show you something else, let's go here and see what the car is all about, because it's all about space in the 7 Series. And as you can see, I have a lot of it. That's the AC control here, and I think this is a digital unit. You don't find it anywhere else. And surprise, there is a lot of connectivity features, some charging points here, and a CD player in 2021. And I think that's weird and nice at the same time. I think you're paying a price for nostalgia, and you don't get to do that very often. And as you can see, entertainment screens at the back, sun blinds which are electric. Sorry, this is the sunroof, a separate sunroof. I must say I'm sitting quite higher than I expected. And this is the rear sunlight, which can be operated from the front and from both the seats. This is the sun blind. You can press this button here, and that one also comes down. As you can see, it's getting hot today, so let's roll it up all the way. Hooks, ambient lighting, AC vents. You have a lot of space here at the back, and of course if you sit here, you can push the seat all the way till the front, and you can get endless amount of legroom and knee room. I must say that headroom is also quite generous. You've got pockets here, you've got an ashtray, and these are the new headrests here. So you get a padding here along with this cushion, but at the front BMW has given just the padding and not the cushion that we see here. And as you can see, these are the seat controls. Once I press this button here, it goes into limo mode when it comes to space. Yes. And my seat also is reclining at the same time. This is also going ahead. Everything is happening. The screen has adjusted, the headrest is going down, it's going even more further. All I have to do is keep it pressed, the screen comes back again, and the footrest is rolled out. This is quite something to look forward to every single time if you have the kind of patience that is required. And yes, that's how you can sit here all day long. Weekend journeys, everyday trips, you can do whatever you want. It will be very, very comfortable. Of course, I am not dressed in the appropriate way for this today, but nevertheless, you have massage seats button here and a fantastic Harman Kardon system. That's the ambient lighting. And now let's jump to the cockpit. So as you can see, we are in the cockpit right now, and a lot of things seem familiar to you, but let me explain it to you one by one. This is the steering wheel that I like the most. This particular design, of course, BMW has many designs, and this is one of my favorite. And as you can see, all these controls here are for your speed limitation, cruise control, and you can resume and cancel at the same time. And you can use the scroller to up and down the speed for cruise control. These are the controls for the volume and voice command, along with phone, telephone, and everything. Wipers, well, I have one small grudge with the wipers, is that when you put it in auto, this is the default mode. The first mode is 0. I think that should have been 1 instead of 0, so that when you put it at the lowest, it still keeps on swiping, but I have to take it one step ahead to make it work. I think the default version, the default should have been 1 instead of 0. 12-inch screen, LCD screen, it looks great. As always, it's a little bit confusing, but if you go inside the menu here, into car, and then into settings, and then into displays, and then into instrument cluster, you can see right now I can see both 0 for kilometers and miles, and you can see additional information. If I put that, more information comes in, and if I put it in reduced mode, it becomes much better. So I think that's fantastic. And as you can see, these are the 4 driving modes. It's put into adaptive mode as well, so when I'm at low speeds, the suspension is higher, and the ride quality is better. Once I start driving faster, around 120, 130 and above, the suspension starts getting lower after 70 kilometers itself, and then it cuts the air more efficiently. Coming back to the instrument cluster, yes, there's a driving mode view as well, so you can choose between all of these 3, and I think that's great. There's a lot of options, so you can see there are general settings. You can set almost anything here. There's of course the gesture control, which I'll show you in a bit, and speed warning, which is quite annoying in the car, because the government mandated one starts beeping at 80 and then it constantly beeps at 120, and at 120 it even cuts down the music that you're listening to, so that's quite annoying. The only way to get around that is having a lot of patience, and also the fact that if you keep the speed warning, the volume control, let me just show you in a bit, which is, once you go into volume setting, if you keep the speed volume at the lowest, well, everything stays low, and the moment you up the volume as well, it will stay a little lower. But if you keep this at highest speed volume, then it's going to be absolutely annoying, and you will have to keep it at 119 kilometers an hour. But I think this is one of the best ways to do it, but you still require a lot of patience. Of course, it's got the parking and park assist along with reversing assist, so it remembers how I went ahead in certain place, so it will reverse me out of that. Park assist comes on automatically, it brakes, so if somebody is behind, let's say you're in an Indian situation where you're getting out of your premises and a watchman is trying to help you get out, so if he's standing in front of the car, at the back of the car, and he's not moving, the car will stop. So that happened to me, that is why I can explain you that. And in the Indian context, the park assist needs to be switched off unless you need assist with parallel and perpendicular parking, etc. Camera picture also can be adjusted, so I think that's a lot of options. And as you can see, the parking view, automatic, everything works. The reversing assist is also fantastic. It is asking me to engage reverse gear, and I just did that, and it will, as you can see, I've just braked, but it took me to the position which I was. End of route will be reached shortly. And yes. So I think it knew that I went ahead, and so it took me back from where I started from. This was just a small thing how it can do. I was not on the accelerator, I was not on the steering, it did it by itself. So it has that memory, basically. It's a reversing assist, is a memory function for where you were earlier. So it will guide you exactly out the way it was. I don't know the period and the time how it works, but nevertheless, for short durations, I think it works really well. I'm not sure about how it works in the longer scenario. If I'm here right now, it can't take me reversing all the way back to office, so that's not happening, that's for sure. Music system by Harman Kardon works really well. You've got ventilated seats on both sides, and you've got this lovely perfume that is on offer with this car, and you can adjust the level of it. There are two options to choose from, and I think this is great. Both these fragrances are quite fantastic, and they do uplift the ambience on the inside. Quality as always is top notch, well finished, everything is soft touch, and this is a brand new car as well, so it gives you a very nice impression of what the car would be like if you are picking it up from if you are getting it delivered shortly or anytime soon. This is the big screen. So yes, we have just inaugurated the new screen. You've got this dial here which understands recognition for any letters, symbols. You can control everything via here. You've got an auto hold with electronic parking brake. That's the suspension adjuster. You can take it higher and lower, and like I told you, the moment you get at 60-70, it will start lowering automatically. First the rear suspension comes up, and then the front comes up. You will notice that the bonnet will come up quite high, and that's your indicator that the suspension is at the top. And you can glide over bad roads very easily. With this up, I didn't scrape anywhere. Most of the time we did encounter a lot of big speed breakers. Out of the 10, maybe it scraped a little bit on the very big speed breaker, but I think it's still a great feat to get through all of that. The only problem I think here is that it's an extremely small glove box that you're getting here, and more features include this button here. Once you press this is for the passenger seat, and I can use the controls here to control the seat. I think that's fantastic to have. Instead of in a situation like this when you want to adjust the seat, you can do it instead of going like that and getting uncomfortable. BMW does not want you to get uncomfortable in any aspect with the 7 Series. And you've got this red line button here, like I told you when we were at the back, and lights, and everything else is fantastic. Of course, I showed you the back sunroof. This is the front sunroof, and if you can see these lines, these lit up in the night. I'll show you the entire car from the inside and the outside in a bit in the night. Right now, overall everything is great, and you get, of course, 2 keys with this car. This is the display key, and this is the normal key. You need to start this. It starts up. It's a very nice screen, and let me try and show you how this works. The most important part, of course, is the remote control parking. Once you press this, then you have to press this. Okay, it wants me to go closer. Okay, and here we go. Yes, you have to keep the button pressed here, and the car will keep on moving ahead, and I think that's fantastic. You can get out of tricky parking situations. You can roll it ahead so you can get in and out of the car very easily. And of course, as you can see, it's going back as well. So pretty neat, pretty cool, very gadgety experience with the 7 Series that everybody looks forward to. This is something that it's very precise, and something that the other car manufacturers have still not caught up yet. And this is one of the party tricks that the 7 Series has. It has grabbed a lot of attention ever since this feature came out, and we're also quite it's something that you will be amused of and find it very convenient at the same time. And now let's jump to the driving part. So driving the facelift 7 Series, what's it like? Well, I specifically remember my time with the old 7 Series, and that was a good car. I was driving the diesel version back then. I'm driving the diesel version again. The only difference is that was a BS4 version, this is a BS6 version, and we finally have BS6 fuel in the country as well. So the engine is much more smoother than I expected. Even my own diesel car has become smoother thanks to the BS6 fuel that is on offer, and that is making a lot of change. It's visible here as well. Talking about the engine, well, it is the inline 6 which makes 265 bhp of power and almost 650 newton meters of torque. That's a lot of torque and horsepower. I'm stuck between trucks, and I can tell you those are numbers from the trucks which are by and down by slightly, by slight amount, but those are commercial vehicle sort of torque and horsepower numbers, and that propels with that kind of smoothness and the easiness that the engine has to offer. It's an effortless car to drive. It just shoots ahead. You'll be doing triple digit speeds in no time. You cross the 120 legal limit also quite easily, so you'll have to look from time to time because it's very stable, ride quality is excellent, and that's the best part of the car. It's an extremely relaxing car to drive, to be in the driver's seat or behind. But over the previous version, if I have to judge, the car is definitely much more softer than the previous version, and I thought that was quite soft than the last version that I drove. And basically this is getting softer and softer, even in the most comfortable mode, and I think that's great for the intended purpose, which is chauffeur driven. But when you do get behind the wheel, you will realize that just like me, you will find yourself in sport mode all the time, even in the city, because the most comfort mode tends to bounce around a bit, but not in an uncomfortable way. Obviously, as a keen driver, I do notice that, and that is the reason why I have kept an individual driving mode where the suspension is in sport mode, the steering is in sport mode, but the engine and the transmission is in comfort mode. So that is something I've absolutely loved doing so, because the engine responses and the gearbox are on the normal side, and the suspension and the steering is great. So it kind of gives me a feel that I am driving let's say a 5 series on comfort mode. So that really makes things better. Technology has made things better in the 7 series, and I am particularly enjoying that aspect. You will too as well if you are driving this car and not just sitting behind. Overall, I think it's a great car to drive, great car to be in. The brakes are good, the tires are good. Body roll, well, even in sport mode there is a good amount of body roll, and it's still the feedback from the steering is good, but it could be a little heavier to my liking. And what I also think is that the Jaguar XJ is still a better driver's car that gives you a solid amount of feedback, and the way it behaves through corners is absolutely amazing. There is no other car in this segment that drives like a Jaguar XJ, even the 7 series for that matter. And the 7 series of course comes second, but the other two rivals such as the Audi and Mercedes come even lower. So you'll be still very happy with this car driving and sitting at the back. Most of the things are well covered, and that is what the 7 series is all about. It's got frugal petrol and diesel engines. It's fun to drive to a large extent. It's priced slightly higher, but there are some variants that are reasonably well priced for a car of this segment, and I think that is it. That is what the 7 series is all about. BMWs are always great on service packages and after sales, and that's the reason why 7 series continues to still sell in good numbers. It's a little bit of cliche, or I don't know, but I've spotted 4 7 series while driving this car over the last 4 to 5 days. So that is something I don't know is what that is, but I have seen a lot of 7 series on the road. For a car of this price and size, it's being sold in very large numbers. That's what the sales numbers suggest as well. I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching our video. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you next time in our next video. Goodbye.